Welcome back, everyone. Patrick here, moving on to the next question. So a machine worth $84,000 is depreciated linearly over 7 years. After 7 years, the machine will be worthless. What's the value of it at the end of the 4th year? So this question, two different ways to do it. You can sort of do it in a common sense type of way. And then you could do it in a mathematical way. And I could show you both ways. So basically what's happening is we have this machine today. Let's say today is time 0. And we're going to have it for 7 years. And then after 7 years, it's going to be worthless. So 1 year passes by, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. And it's worth $84,000 today. Remember, today is time 0. And then at the end of the 7 years, so notice 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, 6 year, 7 year. At the 7th year, it's going to be worth 0. And it's losing value. And when it says linearly, or sometimes you'll see maybe straight line depreciation when you get into accounting, it means it's that it's losing value by the same amount every year. And so to go from 84,000 to 0 in 7 years, well, how much value is it losing per year? Well, you would just take the 84,000 and divide it by 7. And that would give you 12,000. So it's losing 12,000 every year. If you continue that pattern, you would end up getting to 0 over here at the end of the 7th year. And they're asking, what's it worth over here at the end of the 4th year? This is the end of the 1st year, end of the 2nd year, end of the 3rd year. This is the end of the 4th year. And so notice, it started at 84,000. And then we're just subtracting 12,000 4 times. Right? So we would have 84,000. It's lost 48,000 in 4 years of value. And so we would end up with 36,000. So that's the answer to this question. Now, sometimes there may be a value over here. It was worthless, so the value was 0. Sometimes there will be a salvage value. So then you would have to take this, subtract that, and then divide it by the number of periods. Right? So basically, for straight line depreciation, this is for straight line, the depreciation per year is equal to the value now minus whatever the salvage value is going to be. In this case, it was 0 over the number of years from now till that salvage value. So we had 84,000 minus 0 over 7. That's how we got the depreciation per year, which was 12,000. Remember, this is for linear or straight line depreciation. Now, if you wanted to do this in a very mathematical way, what we can do is we can actually create 2 points. So what we can do is say, okay, we'll let x equal the number of years that have passed by for the machine. And we'll let y equal the value of the machine. Because it's depreciating linearly, we can make an equation of a line. So what we can do, the first point would be if 0 years have passed by, which is today, the value of the machine would be 84,000. And then if 7 years pass by, the value of the machine is going to be 0. So we got these 2 points here, and we can find the equation of a line with these 2 points. So how do we do that? We find the slope, which would be y2 minus y1. So we'd have 84,000 minus 0 over x2 minus x1 over 0 minus 7. And this would end up being 84,000 over negative 7, which would give us negative 12,000. Right? The value is going down, so it's a negative slope. So we'd have y equals negative 12,000 x plus b. Then we could solve for that b value. We could either plug in this line or this point here for x and y, or plug in this point for x and y. We'll get the same b value, it doesn't matter. Let's plug in this point, it's easier, I feel. we'll have 84,000 equals negative 12,000 times 0 plus b. This goes away, so b is 84,000. So the line is y equals negative 12,000 x plus 84,000, which is what the same equation that I had when we did it with a more common sense kind of way. So this is the value of the machine, the equation for the value of a machine after a certain number of years. So if we wanted it after 4 years, we just plug in 4 for x, and then we end up getting that 36,000, right? So sometimes you could just get an equation like this, and then maybe if you're working with, like, let's say this machine was around for 102 years and there was a salvage value, etc., you can maybe get an equation like this and then solve for whatever you need with more like bigger numbers. So this can come in handy in those kind of situations. But yeah, whichever way you do it for this question, 36,000 is the final answer.